Okay, Math 85, we're going to pick up with number 10, and we're going to divide. So when we divide fractions, we keep the first fraction the same, and remember the division turns into multiplication, and we flip the second fraction. So 4 over 5 is now 5 over 4. And then you can multiply straight across, or we can see if we can, let's break this down by factors. So negative 8, what times what is 8? So that's negative 4 times 2. And 15, two numbers that multiply to give me 15. I want to say 5 times 3. And I'm going to leave the 5 over the 4. Now, do you see anything matching up? Because I do. So I'm going to, I see the 5s. 5 goes into 5 once. 4 goes into 4 once. And this is a negative 1. So I've got negative 1 times 2 times 1 across the top, which is negative 2. And what's 1 times 3 times 1? Across the bottom, 3. So here's my answer, negative 2/3. So remember, we only flip the second fraction when we're dividing. When we're multiplying, we don't flip. So I'm just going to break this down to factors and see if I can cancel anything out. And 2 and 3 and 7 are prime. I'm going to leave those as is. But what times what gets me 4? 2 times 2. And so I can cancel. Remember, I can cancel up and down and diagonal. So here's, and I don't think there's anything else I can cancel. So 1 times 7 is 7. And on the bottom I've got 3 times 1 times 2, which is 6. So the answer for 11 is 7 over 6. So whenever you can break down the fractions and cancel, definitely do that. It'll make your problem a lot easier. And then do we remember for 12 what LCM means? Remember, LCM means least common multiple. So remember, I'm going to write out the multiples of 10 and the multiples of 25, and I'm going to look for a match. So 10 times 1 is 10. 10 times 2 is 20. 10 times 3 is 30. 10 times 4 is 40. 10 times 5 is 50. 10 times 6 is 60. And this just keeps going. Okay, let's do the same for 25. We've got 25 times 1 is 25. What's 25 times 2? Well, 25, if you have 2 quarters, you've got 50 cents. And I see right away I've got a match. So my LCM is 50. That's just how I do it. You can do it by factor tree if you'd rather do it by factor tree. I just think this is easier listing them out, but it's up to you. However, do whichever way is most comfortable for you. Okay, so that's 12. Let me go to 13. Okay, here's 13. I want to add a 1/9 and 5/6. And can I add them as is? Do they have the same or common denominator? No, they do not. So, if you think about it, what would be a good common denominator for 9 and 6? We could do an LCM for 9 and 6 if you want, and see where they match up. So 9 times 1 is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 3 is 27. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18. I've got a match. So 18 is my common denominator, because both 9 and 6 can go into 18 equally. So then, let me block this off. We're going to change 1/9 over to 18ths and 5/6 over to 18ths, because that's our common denominator. So 9 times what will give me 18? 9 times 2, and whatever I do to the bottom I need to do to the top. So 1 times 2, so 1/9 is now 2 over 18. And let's keep going. 6 times what gives us 18? Well, here, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 times 3. And what I do to the bottom, I also do to the top. So what's 5 times 3? So on top, I've got 15. I'm going to add these two together. So 2 18ths and 15 over 18, they have the same common denominator now. So 2 and 15, I just add the tops, and I get 17 over 18. And that is my final answer. Okay, 14, I want to evaluate. So again, I have 5a minus 7b. A is -5, b is -3. So going in for this a is -5. So I've got 5 times -5. A is -5. Just take out the a, replace it with -5. Minus 7 times b, and b is -3. Okay, now I just need to simplify this or work it out. So 5 times -5, a positive times a negative is -25. And what's a -7 times a -3? They're both negative, so this will be a positive 21. So I've got a -25 and a positive 21. Remember, I subtract. 25 minus 21 is 4, and it's a -4 because there's more negatives with the 25. So my final answer for 14 is -4. Okay, now we're going to be getting into some decimals. So let me just finish up these two. So I want to write 34 over 1,000 as a decimal. So I've got 1, 2, 3 zeros. So I'm going to write my 34 down. My top number is 34. And since I have 3 zeros, I'm going to count over from the end of the 34 3 places. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I have to add a 0. So my answer is 0.034. Just writing the 34 down and counting over 3 spots because I've got 3 zeros. You could also long divide that if you wanted to. It's up to you. I think this is shorter. So my answer was 0.034. So here's the fraction, here's the decimal. Now for the last one, I want to write this as a mixed number. So 3 is just a regular whole number. He's going to stay the same. But 27, how many places is that out to? Let's count. 1, 2. So I'm out 2 places, and if you remember or you recall the place values, you've got your tenths and your hundredths. So this makes this 3 and 27 over 100 because it's out 2 places. Okay, I'm going to stop there and pick up with 17 in the next video.